you're obsessed with the Connie Fife Show. It's about a lifestyle shift to move up or out.
Hey, what's your jam? What's the one thing that really drives you? What makes you unstoppable?
It's about opening a new door to live your dream.
People give up way too early on their dreams.
It's about enjoying the journey. It's about keeping it real.
Damn, now the interviewee is interviewing the interviewer. I like this.
It's all about you.
I knew there was something else I wanted to do. Stop taking shit so seriously. Y'all can do this. Take an outrageous look at life and laugh.
This is the Connie Fife Show.
We love your voice. We love your jam. You need to be on radio.
And now your host, Connie Fife.
Hey, it's Connie Fife, and we're back again, and you're listening to the Connie Fife Show. Now, we are a business radio show with an edge. We get a little edgy. We're unscripted. We're unedited. And we talk about what it really takes to move up or move out and be that leader, run your business and live the dreams that you've always been hoping for. And we're all about keeping that passion of life activated for the most daring mind. So today we have a wonderful guest. Got to know him a bit, and we've been chatting some similarities, some folks and people we have in common. But what's really interesting about him is that his field of expertise is behavior economist. He's a behavior economist, which drives the decision-making process. Of course, I had to ask him what that was. So with us today, he's an author of The Perfect Plan and servant leadership expert. And you know that I'm all about servant leadership. He recently was named one of North America's top 30 most transformational leaders by the John Maxwell Group. He's lectured at Oxford University in the UK, and he's a special advisor to the, and I know I'm going to say this wrong, to the Sui Sponte Foundation.
Close enough. Sui Sponte.
Sui Sponte Foundation. And he's a strong supporter for the U.S. Army, 1st Ranger Battalion, 75th Regiment, which are based in Savannah, Georgia. And we are fortunate to have him here with us today. So welcome to the Connie Fife Show, Don Barden. Hey, Don, welcome to the show.
Hey, Connie, thank you for having me. I'm so grateful. And I tell you, I love your show. I'm a big fan. I listen to it. I've actually reached out to people that I've heard on your show. And I tell you, thank you for what you do. It means a lot. And you're touching a lot of lives and helping people see things differently. And that means a lot. So thank you for having me, and thank you for being you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's interesting that you say that I do it differently, and I do it differently. And I mean, you get the same old vanilla packaging, and I really want to get to the meat and potatoes of what's really happening, what's good, what's bad, and what to avoid. And I know you talk a lot about servant leadership, and again, that's just, I guess, a passion of mine in terms of helping other people, lifting other people up. And that is something that you do. This is what you talk about. And I did want to talk about that, but let's ask you to share more about being a behavior economist.
Wow. What does that mean? You mean?
Yeah. What does it mean? I mean, why, how is it driving people to make decisions?
Well, no, thank you for asking me. What's interesting, so I'm classically trained, which means I went through all the things that most people would just assume, scratch their eyes out. People talk about economics and going to school to study that, and people just roll their eyes like, oh my God, I hated that class. But what I found is either people hated it or loved it. There was no in between. And I decided a while back, as I was going through my education, my undergraduate, graduate, and doctorate work in the field, was that most of my peers, who I love dearly, I'm not knocking anybody, but in classical economics, most people like to talk about what's happening and tell you why they predicted it a couple weeks ago, although nobody can find how they predicted it. But everybody loves to say that they thought of this, they predicted it. But most classical economics is about historical viewpoints, looking back and saying why something happened. Well, several years ago, actually, it sort of began in the 60s, but it didn't really get any attention until the 90s, and then ultimately in the last decade. It all started to shift to say, look, we've got tens of thousands of years worth of humanity here that we've looked at why they make decisions. Why don't we take a bold leap and start looking at the future? and saying, well, what if this happens? And why do we think this way? And what can we do differently? And then most economists realize that instead of talking about the past, we can use those same tools to talk about the future and look into why people make the decisions they do. Because a lot of people think that humans are crazy, irrational, and unpredictable. When it's actually just the opposite. People are very, very smart, they're very rational, and they're very predictable. And if you can look forward and think about that, then you have an incredible unfair advantage in helping serve people and do things better, because people really do behave in a very good, solid way. And if we can look at that with a servant's heart, then everything starts to change.
So without saying, okay, everybody run out and get your crystal ball, because we're looking into the future, give just a step and a simple process to help people understand how they can look at the future. Just like you, I loved economics when I took it in my business classes. I did, and I am not a math whiz at all, but and economics has nothing to do with that, but I enjoy that and looking to the future. And it's so funny, I did an assessment recently and they said that basically I'm a divergent, I'm a bit of everything, but the piece that really stood out the most was that I was a futurist.
Good. Sure.
Yes, and I thought that was interesting, but it also related back to how I look at things.
Yes.
So, from your terminology, your point of view, I mean, again, helping people make the right decisions or looking towards their future. Is there any type of secret sauce or a little nugget that you can share with them?
Sure. Well, first of all, let's start with you. You want me to get in your head a little bit?
There's a lot up there.
I know. Wow. That's a scary run. No, I know enough about you from listening to your show, how genuine you are and where your heart is. That comes across very, very clear. But someone like you who's a futurist, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you believe that tomorrow can be better than today. Not only for yourself, but for everybody that you touch and you meet. And to me, that's the ultimate servant. That's someone who looks at someone else and says, I want to help you believe that tomorrow can be better than today. It doesn't mean there's ups and downs. It's certainly not rah-rah motivational stuff.
Right. No.
At the end of the day, if you just have that positive attitude as a futurist, you can change the way, and I want you to listen to this, you can change the way people think about how they think, about the way that they think, about their thinking. So to me, being a behavioral economist isn't necessarily just doing magic tricks and predicting the future and having a crystal ball. It's just raising your hand and say, hey, I got an idea. Why don't we talk about changing the way you think, about how you think, about the way that you think about your thinking? And then people kind of look at you and they say, I'd like to explore that. Maybe instead of being black and white, there's a gray. Or instead of having two sides, maybe there's an ability to manage the polarity. There's lots of different ways of looking at it, but it's just changing the way you think about how you think, about the way that you think about your thinking. And if you believe tomorrow is going to be better than today, although there will be ups and downs, good and bad, joys and terror, at the end of the day, that's how you move forward. And that's fun to talk about. And that's what gets people inspired. And like I said, I don't believe in motivation. I believe in inspiration. Motivation burns out. Inspiration goes on forever. So if you can inspire somebody by believing that the future is better than today, then you can do a lot of cool stuff.
Well, we definitely are along the same path. I mean, I truly believe it's inspiration. Again, motivation is great. There's a lot of people out there doing motivation, like you said, the rah, and then you walk out of the room and say, where do I go next? What do I do next? But it's that inspiration to take that next step. And I mean, you got me. I mean, I am all about tomorrow's going to be better than today. Right. I'm always looking at what could we do better? What could we do next? I drive my team crazy because I'm always like, oh, let's do this. Oh, let's go here. But still keeping with the same foundation of what we do.
Right.
And, and I see people again, in LA, I mean, it's just loaded with homeless people or people that just seem down on their luck. And I seen something the other day where it said that Los Angeles is the most depressed city in the U.S. by far.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I was like, I need to go out and help people and inspire people. And I need to show them that you can do different. And maybe it means leaving LA. Actually, we had a young man with us. It's a little over a year now. Met him at an event. He was actually here from Toronto and he was going to be homeless. And somebody had said to me, hey, do you have an extra room, to put this guy up? And I bring people home all the time. People bring home animals. I bring home people.
Good.
And I just text my husband, hey, I'm bringing somebody home, a young guy. He's 22. He's like, oh, okay. I mean, he just knows. So he's like, whatever. And so I bring him home. But he came in to be an actor. He drove here with a friend. And the friend turned out to be kind of a shit and went back to Toronto without him. So he stayed here and he was doing the train into the city and doing all of this stuff. And, and we finally said, and my husband, we sat down with him and then we're like, you know what? You're 22. Have you ever done any acting? No. Have you done anything around this industry? No. Well, we want you to go home. Back to Toronto.
Good for you.
We are buying you the plane ticket back. Well, he had his family take care of him, but I mean, we offered that. And we said, no, you know what? You need to go home. And then when you're able to build that foundation, then it's time to take the next step.
Good for you. Good.
Just this week, there's a young, he's 18, riding his bicycle around the world. I don't know if you heard of this guy.
I've seen this one.
And so it's been 6 months, and he landed in California just about a week ago. And it was like that phone call. Everybody always calls me, hey, we know that you always take people. It's like, who needs a room?
Yeah. Now you're telling the whole world this. People are going to be lined up outside.
That's right. They're going to be lined up outside our house now. So, we house him, and he's riding across the country. But talk about someone. He's inspiring other people to move. Yeah. Get up.
Yeah, he has a mission, I'm sure. Yeah, the other person you're talking about, I don't know them. I'm not judging them, and I don't want to know them. But it sounds like that's somebody who had a hope and a dream. They were motivated. They just jumped in. Maybe put a lot of thought into it. Versus someone who says, I've got a mission, and that mission, I hope is going to inspire other people. Right. And here's what I'm going to do. And they plan it out. It's a difference between planning a mission versus just, hey, I'm going to go try something. We should all have those moments in our lives. Everybody should just try it. Just do it. There's nothing wrong with it. But thank God he ran into you and your husband who said, hey, kid, it didn't work. It's okay. Hold your head up. Get back to Toronto, and maybe in a year or two. But go find yourself. Figure this thing out. So I'm glad that that young man got to find you.
Yeah. So, and that's just it. And, the message is, like I said, the young man on the bicycle, I mean, he knew exactly what road he was going on and where he was going to go. And he's making his way across the country. And between me and some other people, we've connected him with some other folks along his route. But he had that plan, and he's inspiring other people to do that. We need to take a really quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be putting you in the hot seat, Don.
Hey, let's do it.
Hang in there.
Thank you.
The Connie Fife Show is heard everywhere. You can find The Connie Fife Show on most of your favorite networks. It's time to now recognize and thank our major networks for all of their support. In the house, we have Conscious Business Radio, C-Suite Radio, Transformation Radio, iHeartRadio. We are also heard on Google Play, Apple, Radio, Stitcher, and so many more that I just can't keep up with them all. I'm Connie Fife, your unstoppable diva. Learn more about our gym and how we can work together at my fancy schwanky website, ConnieFifeShow.com. I'll see you over there. Until then, like, share. Now back to the show. And we're coming back to our unstoppable guest, Don Barden. So, John, we've talked about a lot of things about inspiration versus motivation. The one thing before we jump into the questions, though, you talk about the elite 1%.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's a great thing. You're talking about you didn't like math. Nobody likes math, right? But math's very important. But all you need to know in math, you learned in kindergarten, maybe first grade. It's add, subtract, multiply, and divide. That's it. It's all you need to know. Everything else is built on that. But years ago, I spent a lot of time on Wall Street. I spent 25 years commuting to New York, Boston, and London, pretty much on an everyday basis. And I worked for this great company, and we got to do cool things, and I met people all over the world. But before LinkedIn and Facebook and social media, before really cell phones were as readily available as they are now. They weren't attached to you in an umbilical cord like they are today. But 25 years ago, in the deep, dark past of humanity, I got to travel around the world and work with some really, really cool people. And what I started noticing was that because of our position and what we did, when we would go someplace, they would send their best and brightest out to work with us. And that was awesome. But the familiarity I had with these people became really sort of oddly weird. I would be on the other side of the world talking to somebody. And if you take out culture and language, and the next week I'd be on another part of the world. And then the next week I'd be in another part of the world. And I started looking at it saying, there's no connectivity here. There's no link between all of us. But you know what? I swear to God, I'm talking to the same person every single time. So I started noticing that these top tier performers around the world acted, spoke, and did things the same way. So using math, sorry to tell you this, but using math, you're able to measure something. And we said, okay, this is, again, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But we realized that these people were in the elite of their industry. And it was every type of industry you can think of. There was no just, we weren't like working with all the best coffee people in the world or dairy farmers. With everybody. And, but we started noticing that there was this common trait amongst these elite 1%. So we set out to study that, and we looked into it for about 5 years. It was actually a doctoral study to see if these people had a secret sauce or anything that they did differently than the rest of the world. And we were able to come back and say, yeah, there is a reason they're elite. There is a reason why there's consistency there. And we figured out what that formula was.
Cool. What's the formula?
Ooh, that's a big question for a short show. But I'll tell it to you up front. They led their heart. And I'm not saying that to be cheesy or passive, but they woke up every day and they defined themselves as a servant. Their career was what I would call the oh yeah part of the conversation. And it became so apparent that that we would talk to them and say, well, what do you do? And instead of saying, I'm Connie, I'm the world's greatest interviewer, they would say, hey, I'm Connie, I run to work to serve other people, my family first, and anybody else is around me, and I take in people and I help them. And I'm trying to make everybody's life better tomorrow than it is today. And oh yeah, I'm a radio host, or oh yeah, I'm a dairy farmer, or oh yeah, I run a fish market. It was all over. So their career became the oh yeah because they defined themselves as a servant, as someone who walks out there and cares about other people. But there was a formula, and the formula is very simple. They opened up every conversation with an attitude of gratitude. Everything was about a deep, heartfelt appreciation for the other person. It was genuine, it was sincere, and it was real. Nothing passive about it. And they clearly educated the people on what it is that they wanted them to do or they could do for them. And their heavy focus on that was outsourcing success. In other words, instead of trying to tell people, I'm a heart surgeon, let me teach you how to be a heart surgeon. No, let me care for you. You outsource your success to me. I love you. I care for you. Let me have my unique ability and let me apply that to you so your tomorrow can be better than today. So they didn't try to teach people what they did. They just tried to let people trust them. And then finally, they made other people's lives easier or better. So education, and ease of business was the formula in that order that every conversation, everything that they did was done for. And it was about inspiring others, but it's about really putting themselves in a position to serve them. And oh yeah, I'm a heart surgeon. Oh yeah, I'm a dairy farmer. Oh yeah, I'm the world's greatest radio host. Whatever it is. That became the oh yeah part of the conversation.
Everyone that I've worked with that I have admired in leadership positions, from my work at the U.S. Chamber or with the Girl Scouts, or now, doing this almost 12 years, every single person has spoken from the heart. Always starting.
There's a big difference when you tell somebody that. I really think that's what we are put here to do. And everyone, to quote Dan Sullivan, everyone's given a unique ability, something that makes them unique and different. And when you're in that zone, when you're doing that, if you're focusing on serving other people and making other people's lives better, such incredible things happen. It's crazy.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's not all roses. There's some good days. But you're driving toward serving other people. Now, on the flip side, if you've been given the opportunity and a gift to do something and you don't use it for good, or worse, you use it to harm or take advantage of people, the universe will ask for its parts back.
It will.
And it will.
And it will. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what happens. So we are best when we are serving other people. And if you take your unique gift, your thing, like Dan always says, do it. And wonderful things will happen.
That's right. Absolutely. So let's get to the hot seat. So I'm going to start, Don, first of all. So finish the sentence of I am unstoppable because
I believe in other people more than I believe myself, and I'm willing to give my life for them. Now that means figuratively and for real. I would give my life for you right now. But at the same time, it's about giving what your incredible wants and desires are for the moment. If you can pass on that to help somebody else, you look around and find out that you either didn't really want it that bad or it comes to you tenfold over. So I really do believe in caring for other people, putting them first, giving them permission to be free, to be themselves so they can be the best they can be.
Yeah. My husband's always, like, he'll walk in if I'm on a phone call with somebody or if we're out at the market or something. I'm right there. I'm always like ready to jump in, give advice. And he's always like, don't be giving it away. And I said, you know what? I said, the more I give away, the more is going to come back. So I am totally okay with that. Totally okay with that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If somebody doesn't give back, that's okay.
And that's okay. I mean, it comes to a point where you do have to say, if you're working with somebody, okay, well, I'd love to keep on helping you, but then we have to move
on, or the time is up. Yeah, but I will tell you one thing. Part of great leadership is understanding that you're planting seeds that you might not ever see grow. So just because you're wanting to see it right now, that doesn't mean it's their time. Like that young man that you just sent back to Toronto, it could be 20, 25 years from now where he's doing something great and he attributes it to this moment, to that moment you told him to go home. Right. You might never know that, but you have to be able to accept that in your heart that that's the way to go. I was with a young lady last week, and I'll tell you this story real quick because I really think this is going to be
I think we're going to forget about the hot seat. Let's just keep talking.
Okay. We'll come back to it. But anyway, this is the story. She was a elementary school teacher for 20, 25 plus years. Now she's a consultant, works with adult children like me. Let me help you. And she's an amazing woman, but she got really teary-eyed. She said, I got this incredible email from this student of mine. It's a student from 20 plus years ago. Wow. And she said, I think I remember him, but I don't really. Yeah. But it's a thank you note. 25 years later, it's a thank you note to her.
Remembered her.
Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for helping me. Here's what he said, and this is my challenge to everybody. He said, you're my password. And what he meant by that was he said, every time you get a security question, it says, who's your favorite teacher or whatever. He said, I always use you. You're my favorite teacher. You're my password. And I thought, what an incredible mission in life. If you can say, I want to be somebody's password. I want to be that person that when that security question comes up, who helped me? Who gave me that moment of inspiration? Who was my favorite teacher? It becomes you. So if you can become a lot of people's passwords, even though you don't know it, that's well lived.
That absolutely. Oh, I love that. I really do genuinely love that.
Yeah. You can hot seat me again. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to the hot seat then.
Okay.
So what do you think? And now do you know where I'm at here? Okay. What's your process for evaluating opportunities? I mean, so many things like we could come along. And so what's your process for evaluating those?
Wow. Well, first of all, is this within my unique ability? Is this something that I can take my talents and my skills and I can touch and believe that I can make the next day better, same as you? So does it fit me as a person? Is it within my guardrails of what I consider morally and socially appropriate so we can help other people? But from a big picture, that's it. It's really, can I make an impact? And then when you back off and you start saying, okay, well, I think this is a good organization to look at or a good person to see if we can collaborate with, then is this person the right fit for the job or the opportunity? Because there's plenty of people that you meet that you want to help, plenty of people that will say, hey, I can do this, and you want to give them a shot. But then you look at it and you go, that's really not what you do. Or I know you want to play in the NBA, but you're 4'2". Maybe we should think something else. Or better yet, you send them back to Toronto like you did. So really, is the person can be a great person and not be the right fit. So it's about taking your emotions out of it a little bit and just saying, is this person the right fit? Do they have the unique ability to move forward with us together? And do I feel comfortable literally closing my eyes and giving them the keys? Because I think great people need to be left alone to do the thing. So the process starts with me. Is it consistent with my guardrails and my unique ability? And then when you meet somebody, you got to say, I know they're an awesome person, but is this the right fit for them. You want to give people a chance, but you want to give them a chance in the right thing, not in necessarily just a Band-Aid, because then their life ends up worse than it was. There's a lot more to this answer, but that's the best 20-second version.
Well, no, I mean, I think the greatest point you mentioned there is taking the emotion out of it.
Yes.
You know, so we're going to keep using him as the example. Our emotion would have said, no, keep him here, protect him, you know, coddle him. But we had to take the emotion out of it to say, no, this isn't the right time for you to be here. You need to go.
Yeah, there's a great writer, a person I met one time named Marilyn Waller, and she said there's a difference between being responsible for and being responsible to.
Right.
And I really do believe that. When she said that, it really struck me, especially as a parent. You say, okay, there's a certain people you're responsible for them.
Right.
Then you have a responsibility to them, to let them go, to turn them around, to say, go do something else. And I think that's probably what you did with that young man. At first, you felt responsible for him.
Right.
You put him into your house and you fed him and you made sure he's okay.
Right.
Then you have to be responsible to him, which means sometimes you say, look, I'd love to have you hanging around, but time for you to go and let them go. And that's the most responsible thing you could have done.
Yep. So that's what we did. And at the same, you know, I mean, there was no return or giving back, or it was like, no, he needs to go. Right. So what is, I mean, you've done so many things. I love asking this question. So complete, never have I ever.
Never have I ever. Oh gosh. And I'm trying to think how many millions of people listen to this. Never have I ever really been satisfied that I've lived up to my full potential. And I think that's what excites me. Because I know you like to ask, and I've heard you this 1,000 times in your show, what are you satisfied?
Right.
I'm satisfied that I'm doing the best I can today.
Okay.
But if you look at a scale, most people like to grade themselves against other people. I prefer to grade myself against my full God-given potential. And knowing that, in fact, the name of one of my books is called The Perfect Plan.
Right.
The word perfect means always becoming. The word perfect does not mean that you're done, that you're finished, it can't get any better. We use it that way, but that's relatively new. The word perfect for the past 10 million years or whatever means always becoming. So to me, it's about always becoming. It's about being happy and content. But I wake up every day to serve other people, knowing that I'm going to learn something every day, that something is going to be better, that I myself am becoming. And I think because of that, I've never really felt satisfied, but I've felt very, very content.
Okay. Yeah. And a difference for sure. And we're always learning. I mean, I've learned from you today so much. So
and I learned from you too. That's the best thing about being an adult and admitting that you're not finished.
No,
and
we're
even
not.
The greatest leaders out there are learning something every day, and they're becoming. They're always becoming.
Yes. And some of the greatest leaders I've heard that, you know, if that day were to ever come, they said, well, basically, it's my time is up.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we always have to be striving. We can't be complacent. So what's next for you? Where do you go from here? What are you doing?
Wow, that's neat. That's a great question. I'm doing a lot. I'm living within my unique ability. I'm living within my ability to go out there and serve other people. So I get offers to teach and lecture and consult all the time. And that's something I love doing. You put me in front of a class, especially with adults.
Do you have a specific a niche audience that you love to work with?
Well, I'll do anything for the military. So I love my military guys, especially on they're my guys, and I work with them a lot. But as far as paying the bills, because I don't charge them.
So how do you pay the bills?
You know what's interesting? There's our portfolio of businesses are pretty good. We have everything from sport construction to consulting to television production. So there's a lot going on that fortunately I get a chance to sit back and be a nice little CEO and watch other people do great work.
Nice.
I feel necessary. But when I get to be at the best I can be, it's when I'm teaching and in front of organizations. But to your question, there's no niche. Last week, I worked a lot with the City of Atlanta Corrections Departments and the fire, because we have a thing coming up this week called the Super Bowl. And they wanted to
that's in Atlanta.
That is in Atlanta next Monday, so it's great. And your LA Rams are going to be here.
That's right.
So we're excited about that. But they were like, hey, what can we do to make sure that we're serving people? With 2 billion people looking at us, we need to make sure that we're in front. So I started doing a lot with them. I've done corporate Fortune 500s. I've done small businesses. I've done everything. So the niche is you need to be a human being, and that you want to be better tomorrow, because the business of serving others is universal. And that's something that doesn't require a niche. But I've had the pleasure of meeting and working with people. I wake up every day and thank God I don't have a real job, because I get to meet cool people like you and everyone else every day. And I just love that.
Wow. Well, I love it. Love it. So, so what's your website? Where can people find you? Where could we tell them to go?
Yeah, just, the best thing to do, email me. If you want to chat or talk, send me an email at Don, D-O-N, at dwbarden.com. And I know you'll have that. And then the website is donwbarden.com. And I'm happy to help and chat with people and anything. I really do try to call everybody back myself. We got an incredible team of people here, but if someone ever calls up and says, hey, I was listening to Connie show, I was doing this, I was doing that, I call them back and I chat with them, and I want to get to know them. And
I love that. Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah. I want to talk to my peeps. And people are surprised. They really are surprised. Like, it's you. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's great, though. That's what
it is. I love it. I love it. So, do you have any parting words? Because we're actually going beyond time, but I love talking to you, and our conversation is brilliant. So anything that you want to leave our listeners with?
No, I think for 2019, as we go forward, or in the future, if somebody's listening to this and thinking about what do I do with myself right now, try to be somebody else's password. Why not? Why not say my goal is for somebody else to put my name down as their password? And I think the other thing that I mentioned before, and you were so kind as to really zero in on it, is at the end, great leaders are planting seeds that they may not ever see grow. So be patient. Don't worry about it. Just know that you're touching other people's lives and keep living up to your full God-given potential. And it may be 20 years or 25 years from now, but when somebody comes back and says, hey, you might not remember, but I stayed at your house for a week, and then you kicked me in the rear end and made me go home. But you know what? Thank you, Connie. The best thing ever happened to me. By the way, look at what I've been able to do in my life and all the people that I've been able to serve because of that moment. So everybody has their defining moment, but you just got to know that you might be a part of someone else's moment, even if you don't know it. And that's okay. You live up to the best of your ability. You commit to always becoming, and it's going to be fine. And keep listening to shows like this. I mean, your show really does open up a lot of people to understand how the world of humanity works. And I really appreciate what you're doing. Well,
thank you. And thank you, Don, for being here. It's been incredible. I'd love to have you back again. I mean, it's just been a fantastic conversation.
Oh, thank you. Anytime. You just pick up the phone and I'm there.
You got it. You got it. So that's all we have for today. And remember, plant those seeds. Plant those seeds. And I have a speech that I've done, a keynote, and I always talked about climbing up to the highest mountain and planting those seeds along the way, because somebody will find you. So if you are one of those that are moving ideas forward and keeping the passion of life activated, give us a call. We want to see if you qualify to be represented by our talent concierge, because we are representing the world's most daring minds. And imagine your brand, yourself being here right on the Connie Fife Show. Learn more about advertising and to be a guest. Just head on over to theconniefifeshow.com to learn more on how you can be seen everywhere. I'm going to leave you with this little thought for today from Nelson Mandela, and it has a lot to do with servant leadership, which is, for to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Dr. Mandela was just an expression of servant leadership. And you're listening to The Connie Fife Show, and I'm Connie Fife. Until next time, activate your power, and you too are unstoppable together. Hey, y'all, it's Connie Fife. Thank you for listening to The Connie Fife Show. Check back often. You don't want to miss any of the good stuff. If you like what you hear and would like to be a guest on the show, head over to theconniefifeshow.com to apply. While you're there, check out our amazing advertising opportunities that will put you right in front of your perfect client. I will see you over there. Do yourself a favor this week. Activate your power and be unstoppable together.